Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dairy Raid. And today we are talking about the offensive line and previewing the 2024 season. Again, we're looking at the offensive line from a coach's point of view. We're AJ Blazek. We're seeing our group for the first time. We're identifying where they need to improve from a fundamental point of view, skills that we need to add, skills that we need to change. We're going to look at the group from where we can execute better from last season within the system. And then we're going to talk about how we can use that newfound fundamental improvement and skill development in a more tactical way and improve our production on the field, that direction. So, getting into this group, I'm very excited about the offensive line because I have been spending a lot of time over these last couple months watching AJ Blazek talk about offensive line. And if you have any desire in coaching, go on YouTube and just search AJ and look at all the myriad of information that he's put out there. He seems like a very open coach, very open to work with in clinics and stuff like that. And you hear a lot about his philosophy when it comes to offensive line coaching. And it's exciting. Dude loves to talk about offensive line play. He's the type of coach where I can tell his voice is gone at the end of every practice because he coaches at 1,000 miles an hour. And I love that. That's what this room needs. We hear, last year that Jack Bicknell Jr. was a player's coach where maybe he was more of the offensive line dad. AJ Blazek is going to be that offensive line crazy uncle. And he's going to push that group. And they're going to hate him and love him equally. And I can't wait. So when we get into looking at our offensive linemen from a fundamental point of view, this room has got to get better in the passing game and pass protection at getting their hands on defenders early. I think we saw a lot last year. Jack Nelson was victimized with this a lot. Michael Furtney was, the whole offensive line pretty much was. When they got into pass protection, it was a lot of wait and see. They get out of their stance, they get set, they get moving, but there just seemed to be so much time from their get off to the point of first contact that unless they locked out and got in position perfectly right away, they were going to get lost. We saw that a lot with Jack Nelson. So what I would want to get out of this, and again, with the passing game, how it is, we're not doing 7-step drops. We're not doing complicated, deep passing schemes that means that we need to keep that pocket open for 2.5 seconds. I want to see our offensive linemen get out of their stance, work more laterally, get their hands on those pass rushers early to let the pass rushers dictate where the protection needs to be set. And instead of sitting back and letting that defender work off of our weakness, I want to get my hands on him and work to my strength. And I think obviously our strength is our power in our offensive line. Agility is not one of them. So we need to work on getting our hands on those defenders quickly, being able to redirect and move better. This is going to allow us to get more creative when it comes to pass protection. We saw a little bit last year where they would play action and be able to pull out Tanner Bortolini and works a little bit of semi-roll stuff. I'd like to see more movement in pass protection. To allow movement, though, we need to be able to almost essentially build like a run scheme when it comes to picking up the rest of our defenders. So we need to have that quick lateral movement, quick hands, so that sets up the ability to move uncovered linemen and rotate and move the pocket. So overall, improving our pass protection skills is going to allow for a more diverse arsenal when it comes to pass protection schemes. And we're just building and building upon all this movement, and it's going to allow us to get better at screens. The screen game is so important to the air raid offense because it really extends the amount of space the first and second level defenders have to cover in terms of pass coverage, that it brings so much more emphasis to the first level of the passing game. We've been building up this whole time about a 3-layered effect. Utilizing the running backs more effectively in the passing game is going to help with the lower level. But getting better at the screen game and not just throwing bubble screens, not just throwing quick screens. I mean, we're working the power scheme into a jailbreak, a slot screen, whatever, getting those big linemen upfield and letting them get hands-on quickly and effectively. We ran it a few times last year. Moderate success. There's a couple great schemed up screens that we ran last year where we would fake power one direction and then bring out backside linemen to set up a wall in a screen game. So we showed that we were capable of doing it last year. Let's hope, being a year faster, a year more agile, a year smarter on top of being a year stronger, can improve that group and allow us to be more aggressive on the first level of the defense and bringing the offensive lineman to the defense instead of the other way around. All right. This is going to be a year that the offensive line has got to return to the forefront of the Wisconsin offense. It's a veteran group. We're returning essentially 5 starters or 4 starters from last year. And there's a lot of experience, multiple year starters, all conference type players. We have some young talent who have been patiently waiting in the likes of Joe Brunner, JP Benchwall, to get into that rotation. And then we got the young guys coming up that, again, there's a reason why we've dedicated 10 bodies in the last 2 recruiting classes to offensive linemen. We're going to see some of these young guys who have been brought up in modern football and have been training since they were younger in the ways of modern football, the combination of power and agility, the combination of speed and aggression. And that is going to take the dynamics of our offensive line group to another level when guys like Kevin Haywood, Emerson Mandel, and the rest get into the rotation. And I think they will early, especially now that we hear that Leighton Nelson, unfortunately, is going to be out for the season, most likely. Our depth is kind of back down to where it was pre-spring. So that's going to be a lot of young guys, which, when we're talking about stuff we're doing here, easy thing to do with young guys is just give them a spot, tell them to run, go get it. And I think our offensive line group can do it. It's just going to take a leader, a coach in that room that can get his guys really excited about the details of offensive line play, and I think A.J. Blazek is that type of guy. So from a coach's point of view, I think our offensive line is in good hands this coming season. All right, so that's the offensive line. Next time, we're going to wrap up our position outlook preview with, we're going to look at the quarterbacks and how the quarterbacks can improve. The room is different, but the ideas behind the offense are the same, and the room needs to grow if the offense is going to take a step forward in the 2024 season. So that'll be next time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.